In this episode, LinkedIn makes stalking a whole lot easier, Apple is spending $1 billion a year on original programming, Elon Musk beats the world's best at Dota 2, or at least his AI does, and if you've received an email warning from Google lately, you might want to pay attention. All that and a whole lot more right after this short intro. Welcome to another week in digital marketing news for this week, the week ending on the 19th of August 2017. How you're doing, you beautiful people. I'm Vince Warnock here for AllTheGeek.com, your single source of digital marketing news, everything from tech to AI, from search to social media. If it's relevant for you, you're going to find something relevant on the website. How you're doing? Did you miss me? Apparently, as I look at all the feedback, a few of you did, which is very touching, but I'll get onto that in a second. First of all, you know the drill. Click on that subscribe button, which is somewhere there. I'll work it out one week. Click on that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. And of course, if anything resonates with you in this video or anything on AllTheGeek.com, make sure you leave a comment down below. Be one of those awesome people that gives us the big thumbs up. Give us that like. Look, you're digital marketers, you know how this works. The more engagement you give us, the better we rank and the better for all of us. So, yeah, thanks for that. Next up, the feedback. Right, before we get into the news, every week I like to read out the feedback that you guys have given us. This week, I'm seeing a distinctive trend here. Most of it is what I shall call the elephant in the room, which is, where was I last week? Yes, we missed the video last week. I made a call not to do a video last week. I had some personal stuff to deal with. My sister was in hospital and yeah, very much, look, you guys are important to me. You know that. The news is important to me. You also know that. But my sister is more important, sorry. So that was my focus. Actually, why am I apologizing? I'm not apologizing, but I do thank you all for the awesome words and the awesome queries. Everyone asking where I was, hoping I was okay. Really touching. And of course, one person, I'm not going to name you on here because people do know you and that will be embarrassing, saying that they hopped on the train to watch the weekly video and there was none. So they ended up having to look at everybody's ugly faces. My advice to you is probably get a different train. But anyway, on with the rest of the feedback. Obviously, most of it, as I said, is around where we were last week. So now you know that. Next feedback from Ashley, thanking me for the tech find of the week from a couple of weeks back, which of course was Pixabay. Ashley said her and her team are using Pixabay all the time now. Of course, Pixabay is a source of copyright-free, royalty-free, ready for commercial use imagery that you can use on your blogs and your websites. We use it all the time on AllTheGeek.com. Absolutely love the service. So yeah, thanks for that, Ashley. Okay, we've got a lot to cover on social media, as always. First up, actually two items from LinkedIn. LinkedIn dominating the news lately. You're doing well, LinkedIn. First of all, LinkedIn rolling out a video creation tool on their mobile app. Yeah, so apparently at the moment it's only available for frequent contributors, and there's no word yet on when it's going to be rolled out to the rest of the world. The main usage they see for this is people creating videos to teach other professionals how to do things, so kind of like YouTube really. Look, LinkedIn, I love all these updates that you're doing lately. Some of them have been really useful. I'm guessing some people will use this. Personally, I don't see myself ever using that, but obviously I'm not the target market, so there you go. Next one, though, is an interesting one. LinkedIn have rolled out an update. You would have seen this in the teaser, to make stalking a whole lot easier. Now, this almost made my Muppet of the Week award, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt on this one, LinkedIn. LinkedIn are rolling out a thing called active status. So essentially, it tells you when your contacts are available, active on LinkedIn, so you can see when they're actually looking at their news feed or engaging with other people, or you can see when they're available on a mobile device as well. Now, speaking as someone who gets a lot of spam on LinkedIn, like honestly, we are hit up probably 2 to 3 times a month from people trying to sell us their wares, and I'm being conservative there, and at least the same of people trying to employ us. So look, it's flattering, but the reality is I'm not on LinkedIn to be spammed. I'm there to make professional connections and to engage with other digital marketers and that. So this one feels a little bit creepy to me. It's going to be really useful, obviously, for salespeople. A lot of salespeople use LinkedIn, and I've done this in a past life as well. Use LinkedIn to try and create those connections so you can have the sales conversations. So obviously, that's something that salespeople are really wanting. But for those of us that are no longer salespeople, that's just a little bit creepy. So there you go. That's LinkedIn. Not so good news for LinkedIn this week. Never mind. YouTube, a couple of quick updates from YouTube. YouTube have added a breaking news section to their homepage. Now, this is not available to all YouTube users yet. It's slowly rolling out across the world, so no word yet on when we'll start to see it. I personally haven't seen it myself. But essentially, when you go to YouTube, on the homepage, you're going to see a carousel at the top, which is breaking news. What's going to be really interesting is how this is curated, and YouTube haven't talked about this yet, whether this is from trusted news sources or whether it's just trending videos, etc. I'm kind of guessing they're rolling this out as a precursor to World War III, which could be on the horizon. You never know. So, yeah, that's interesting. I can see it being quite useful, actually. The thing is, I don't look at normal news sites anymore. They irritate the hell out of me. I'm sick of clickbait titles. I'm sick of all the trash news that's on the site. I want genuine news. I want it from a balanced point of view. Really hard to find that. So quite often I miss a lot of the news stuff that's out there, other than tech news, of course. So YouTube and Twitter tend to be my... I'm not going to call them trusted sources of information, but my sources of information anyway. So it'll be interesting. I'm quite looking forward to seeing what it's like once it's rolled out and what opportunities there are for us as marketers to be able to tap into that kind of local breaking news aspect. Next up for YouTube, YouTube have added in-app messaging. Now this is an interesting one. And I'm not too sure how this is going to work yet. Obviously, Google own YouTube. Google have tried to get into social media space before with Google Plus, with a number of other different kind of things that they were pushing. None of it's really resonated with people. So what they're doing with YouTube is you can now share a video with any of your contacts on your mobile device. So for example, under the share options for a YouTube video, I can go on there, look through my contacts, click a number of people, and we can have a conversation around that video. It shares the link with them and they can talk about it in there. And it's all done in-app messaging, so it's all private, just between you and your friends. Look, this is a really interesting one. It's going to be interesting to see if people start to take it up. But also, I'm really intrigued to see when they start rolling out things like watching it at the same time. This is something that I personally have been wanting for a very long time. The ability for you to share a video and then you all do a countdown, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. When you get to one, click and it will play the video at the same time for all users. So you can share the experience with each other, laugh at the cheesy jokes, cringe at the dialogue, all the usual stuff you do when you're sitting down watching a video with friends. Interesting to see if this is going to be a new avenue for advertising. No word on that yet, but it'll be interesting to see if you can kind of jump into these in-app conversations and these in-app messages with different propositions and different messaging. So watch this space, I guess. Facebook, couple of quick updates for Facebook. Oh, actually 3. There you go. Facebook are going to penalize fake videos. So what do I mean with this? Well, Facebook have rolled out a new algorithm that essentially, you've seen it in your Facebook feed. You'll see a video there. You click on the video, find out it wasn't actually a video. It just looked like a video thumbnail, and it goes off to a hyperlink off site. That is going to be penalized with the new Facebook algorithm. You're going to see those stories demoted, shared less and less with people, and possibly even banned. The other thing they're doing there is videos that have just a singular image, seen these also, where it's just an advertisement and someone's turned it into a video and it's just a 30-second non-stop image. Those are going to be penalized as well. So how they're going to do this? Interestingly, with AI. So they've got a whole pile of machine learning that can analyze if a video is actually a video, if an image is actually an image. Pretty simple stuff, really. So basically, the same rule applies as we always say here on AllTheGeek. Don't be dodgy and you'll be fine. So don't use video thumbnails as your images, and don't use images as your videos, and you'll be fine and dandy. Simple. Next up, Facebook have made a few minor changes to their homepage, or their news feed, I should say, just to clean things up a little bit. These kind of things are always interesting. Nothing too big yet. First of all, threaded comments. So now your comments, whenever you're engaging with someone on Facebook, your comments will be threaded and look more like a text message, like an SMS. So it's going to make it a lot easier to be able to filter through your comments. Circular profile pics. So apparently all the cool kids are doing this. Twitter has it, Snapchat has it, Pinterest has it, Instagram has it, and now Facebook has it as well. I'm not sure if there's any science behind circular versus square profile pics, but yeah, if everyone's doing it, there must be some reason for it. And lastly, subtle changes to the link shares. So if you're sharing a link on Facebook, the color behind the text is now shaded slightly, so it's easier to read, and also the image itself from the link is slightly bigger, just ever so slightly. Nothing major there for us as digital marketers, but interesting to see the different changes that Facebook are making. Be interesting to see if any of them do affect us going forward. And lastly here, this is actually a big one for me. This is one of the stories that certainly caused quite a buzz in our office. Facebook now let you post influencer posts as ads. So let me break this down for you. Essentially, if you've got influencers, you've got micro-influencers that are working for you, that are sharing content about you, etc., you can now take their posts, their Facebook posts, and boost them yourself without having to become an advertiser on their Facebook page or on their Facebook profile. You can actually just take those posts and boost them directly. Now, the way this works, the content creator themselves, the publisher, they need to do two things. They need to tick their box which says allow business partner to boost. Don't know why I looked at that, that was pretty obvious. But also they need to tag you in that post. So if they've tagged you in the post and they've allowed promoters to boost them, then you can go ahead and boost that post yourself and get greater visibility. This is a very welcome change actually. It's been a gap when dealing with influencers and micro-influencers. So 2 thumbs up there, Facebook. Guess what? That's it for social media. Next up, all that's new in search. Alrighty, few updates for you. Shall we try that one again? Alrighty, a few updates in search for you this week. And first up, actually, quite a bit from Bing. Yes, Bing. Bing is apparently, wait for this, bigger than you think it is. Big. Wow, I'm struggling with this one. Stop laughing in the background. Bing are bigger than you think. Bing have rolled out their numbers to show they actually have 9% of the global search market, which doesn't sound like much, but when you're up against a dominant player like Google or YouTube, then 9% is a huge amount. But what's really interesting, I'm going to read out these stats to you. 33% of all US searches are done on Bing. 23% in the UK. You also have some other big markets like Taiwan, where it's 26%, and Hong Kong with 20% of the searches. Australia and New Zealand, it's more like 12%. But this is a lot higher than we anticipated from Bing. Now, Bing obviously have been profitable since around Q3 2015. Their Bing advertising platform has. They're showing they're growing year on year. Be interested to see what the demographics are. There's no word on that yet compared to Google. And what's more important to understand really is why people are using Bing over Google. Is it just that they're using Edge, Microsoft Edge or IE? Are they using something that has it as a default search option? Or is it that they're using third-party tools which use it as a default option? I honestly personally thought Google was far more dominant than that. But it's interesting, and it makes the next kind of couple of updates here even more interesting. First of all, Bing is getting really serious about advertising now. They're rolling out a couple of key things here. One is the ability to add labels to your search campaigns. So this is very much in line with what Google do with AdWords. And over the next few years, in the next few weeks, they're going to allow you to add up to 50 labels into your campaigns. So this can be done at campaign level, ad group level, ad and keyword level, and essentially it just means that you can manage and you can analyze your campaigns a lot tighter around those labels. And as an added bonus, just for you, I was almost going to do, wait, there's more. AdWords labels can be, Google AdWords labels can be ported over to Bing's ad platform. So yeah, this is really interesting. It's going to make life a lot easier when setting up campaigns. And on that, even easier still, Bing is allowing you to do dynamic search ads, search advertising. So essentially, you'll need to sign up for the pilot on this one. They're only testing this at the moment, but it uses machine learning algorithms to look at your search content, look at the landing pages, and make recommendations there of where it should be porting to. So it's pretty much the same as Google's DSA, or Dynamic Search Ad Platform, but interesting to see that now on Bing. Next up in search is Google, and this is a big one. A lot of people contacted me through the week on social, via email, over phone, saying, hey, have you received warnings from Google about non-secure website landing pages? So essentially what this is Google has announced that Chrome is going to warn people if they're going to a non-SSL based web page where there are things like forms or any kind of potentially secure content. So Chrome's going to give them a warning to say this is a non-secure page. Now, obviously, as a web administrator, as a website owner, as a digital marketer, this is really important. Now, a lot of us don't have our websites fully HTTPS yet, for many reasons, one of them being the speed differences that you see when you go fully secure. But what you should be doing, if you haven't already, is ensuring that any pages where you have email addresses, where you have contact us forms, anywhere where you have potentially secure information, you need to make sure that that is forced to an SSL page. And the reason for this is the customer experience. If you're going to a website, you land on a page and Chrome's telling you this is non-secure, the immediate thing it does in your head, of course, in your brain, is say, oh, warning, warning, should I be trusting this page? That's not a thought you ever want in a user's or a visitor's brain or mind. You don't want them ever doubting that where they are is where they're supposed to be. So really important, if you haven't taken care of this already, those emails were legitimate. They are from Google AdWords and Google Search, so you need to make sure you pay attention to them. There we go. So that's it for search this week. We got there a little tongue-tied and a little dry-throated, but next up, we got all the week's news in tech. All right, we have a whopping one story in tech this week. I kid you not, just one. I could have put this in social, but I didn't want to leave this category empty. Anyway, this is the news that Apple have announced that from 2018 onwards, they are spending $1 billion a year. Let that sink in for a moment. $1 billion a year on original programming. Now this makes sense, comparing it to the likes of HBO, they spend around $2 billion a year, and we get quality such as Game of Thrones, and of course Netflix, who spend $10 billion a year producing such quality programming as The Defenders, which I have just finished binge watching. Excellent. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. $1 billion a year on original programming makes sense, and the reason it makes sense is because Apple's subscription numbers are down. They need to drive people in to get more engagement around that, to be paying for these subscription services. So on that front, this is a win. The interesting piece of this story, though, is who they've got to spearhead it. Now, it's Jamie Ehrlich and Zach von Amberg. And if you've heard those names before, that's because they are the ex-presidents of Sony Entertainment. That was an interesting one for me. Sony, in my personal opinion, don't have a great track record around entertainment. I will throw out the Spider-Man franchise for all you geeks out there. Look, the Tobey Maguire films, they were good until Sony got actively involved in Spider-Man 3 and that fell apart. Let's have a look at Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, the sequels. Yep, looked okay, and then Sony got involved and it fell apart again. Yeah, I don't have great faith in Jamie and Zach, but I do have faith that $1 billion of original programming on Apple is going to be a step in the right direction. So far, they've produced 2 programs. One is, I need to actually look at this, Planet of the Apps. I had to get that right because I was going to say Planet of the Apes. Planet of the Apps, which of course is a Dragon's Den style show around app development and their rollout of Carpool Karaoke. Look, neither of them have really resonated terribly much with viewers at this stage, so watch this space. Hopefully something comes out of it. I'm all for a level playing field. I want everybody to be producing quality programs. If we can get 10 different Game of Thrones type shows, I'll be a happy man. Anyway, that's it for tech. Next up, it's AI. Okay, a couple of updates in AI this week, and actually the first one's quite interesting. Snapchat. Yes, not a name you normally hear in the AI section of the news. Snapchat have crowdsourced, or should I say crowdsurfed, Dad jokes. Concert footage. There we go, you see what I did there. So, sorry about that joke. Lorde, if you haven't heard, the Kiwi artist, she's absolutely amazing. She played at the Outside Lands concert, and what Snapchat did is they used AI to analyze all the video footage from the day, and then they stitched together the audio to make it match so that you could actually watch clips from the Lorde concert with different interspersed clips of footage from all the different cameras from everyone doing their Snapchat videos. So you get to see this kind of stitched together footage with one stream of high quality audio under it. Really interesting use of AI. Obviously, I don't think it's going to add that much value to us as consumers or digital marketers, but any progression in AI, I think, is a really good thing for digital marketing. Now, interesting to note, you didn't get the full song. So for those of you hoping that you could go to a concert and then stitch together a full song, obviously, for copyright reasons, they're not going to allow you to do that. But interesting to see. A lot of people spoke very highly of the AI-produced snaps in the end, the little videos. So, yeah, interesting use. And next up, this one got my son excited. Elon Musk is a major investor in OpenAI, and he's a major player in that space. And OpenAI have beaten the world's best Dota 2 players. Now, if you weren't aware what Dota 2 is, then you're obviously not a gamer, or you live under a rock somewhere. But essentially, it is an incredibly competitive, professionally playable game of strategy. So different teams play off against other teams. They have the World Championships. The AI beat all the world's best players in, and I need to stress this, a one-on-one battle, a 1v1 battle. The reason I stress that is kind of less competitive and it's less strategic than the team-based games, which is where everyone really does play. So it's a huge step forward for the AI. Obviously, it's miles off beating a team battle. Getting tongue-tied here. It's miles away from beating a team battle, but it's really interesting to see this. The reason this is so interesting is Dota is a very strategic game, probably more so than things like chess or even Go. So yeah, AI is starting to get really smart. I'm not too sure if I should be worried about that or not. But anyway, there you go. That is the week in AI. Nothing that relevant for us as digital marketers, but certainly some interesting things anyway. Next up, it's AllTheGeek's Muppet of the Week. Okay, it's that time for the part of the video you all love. It's AllTheGeek's, of course, Muppet of the Week award. And this week, a very special Muppet of the Week. It goes to a UK SEO firm called Movet. Now, some of you would have seen this on allthegeek.com. Essentially, these guys were shut down by UK regulators for, and I need to quote this, deceptive sales practices, what we call being dicks. So essentially what they did is they implied to a lot of customers and potential customers that they were Google partners when they weren't. So really interesting one, by the way. If you do have partnerships with various vendors and suppliers, please make sure those are up to date. You never ever want to mislead any customers or potential customers. But the other thing these guys did, really horrible, aggressive sales tactics. They would tell customers that if you didn't pay your bill, you would lose access to your Google My Business page. Essentially, you would disappear from Google, which of course we know is rubbish, and a whole pile of other dodgy practices. So really glad they've been shut down. Sad that this kind of brings the industry into ill repute. That really angers me. So very much deserved of the Muppet of the Week award. Next up, we've got our Tech Find of the Week. Okay, it's time for our Tech Find of the Week, and this week's, it's a doozy. Well, actually it's a doozy every week, but this week's a really good one. It's something that's really personal for me. I use all the time, and it's edX, edx.com. It is your source of some really high quality courses. It's run out of Harvard and MIT, but you get others like RIT in there. You get I've completely forgotten all the other names already. That's really embarrassing. I should have prepared for this one, shouldn't I? Anyway, it's a brilliant website. We're actually going to be going through, for digital marketers, we're going to go through on allthegeek.com under the ATG Learn tab. You are going to get a list of different courses that we think are relevant for you. So those will be from edX.com, but also Udemy and Coursera. You'll find it on the website. Anyway, as digital marketers, you know one of the things we need to do, as well as keeping up to date with all the trends and all the things that are new on allthegeek.com, you of course need to upskill yourself. And always be learning. It's really important. So edX.com, I've done an awesome design thinking course on there through MIT. There are other courses available relevant for you as digital marketers. There's BI courses, business intelligence, data analytics. There's a whole pile of courses there that are going to add real value to you by reputable companies and reputable organizations. So yeah, big thumbs up for edX.com. Anyway, that's it, guys. That is your week in digital marketing news. You've all been fantastic, of course, and I've been Vince Warnock, of course. So here's to next week. Make sure you keep up to date on the website. Have a look every day. We post stories every single day that are relevant to you as digital marketers. So make sure you keep up to date with them all. And for all my Singapore friends or those going over to Singapore in 3 weeks' time, I'm going to see you guys all over there. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have some fun. But that's it for this week. So make sure, as I said, click on that like button. Leave your comments down below. I want to hear how you're using stories from AllTheGeek.com, how you're using our tech finds. I don't know how you're using our Muppet of the Week. If you are, I don't know how you would. But anyway, let us know in the comments. We love hearing from you guys. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Till next week, stay cool.